this is my impressions over the last 90 days. You can see it's down 82%, but that's because I had a kind of a semi-viral post just outside of this window. Just gonna show you here, um, right here. So that's the reason why it's so down. But the point I want to make here is the best way to get impressions which lead to leads on LinkedIn is by posting just like authentic content. You want to post authentic content, and I know that's a buzzword that's thrown around a lot, but you really want to post content that really, really speaks to you. So you can see here I have 61,000 over the last couple of days, which I think is pretty solid. I have 2,000 followers, and you can see a lot of my posts do a little bit more than my followers. So there's quite a number of members reached outside of my actual followers and connections. And so the best way to do this is with this authentic post workflow. The first part here is you really want to uncover your personal stories. This is a 3-step process, and this will help you create more LinkedIn posts that are more authentic to you, to build your personal brand and build your audience, to build the people that follow you because they just love you as a person. And in my opinion, the best posts have some kind of personal anecdote. They don't always, but often the best posts do. And a lot of people really think that this has to be some life-changing event, but it really, really doesn't. It can honestly be something as simple as my favorite show ever when I was a kid was Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I literally spent hours watching every version available, and I was literally partially raised by Uncle Iroh, which is true, by the way. But this is what it taught me about being a better person, about change, about all these different things. You can always kind of relate it back to something that is relevant to your audience. And even though that this is a somewhat really small detail about my life, you kind of feel like you know me a little bit better. And this is exactly what we want to do with our LinkedIn audience. So how exactly we're going to do this? So typically when I work with a client to do these, I do done for you LinkedIn services, but I would do podcast style interviews with questions that are designed to really dig deep into those personal experiences. But if you want to do this yourself, you can have somebody ask you these questions. You can tell ChatGPT to ask you them and then speak back to it. Or you could even just talk to yourself out loud and then record it. And a note here, you really want to try and pretend that you are talking to a friend to make it sound more conversational. And then you take that audio transcript and you take the audio file and you turn it into a transcript. You can do this with the Notes app on your phone, the Voice Note app, I mean, and then use something like Riverside to put it into a transcription. It's probably best here to only do 1 or 2 questions per voice note, just because it'll be better for the context window of the AI that we use later. So this is a big list of questions. You can look at this on your own time, but some things like this would be, describe a life-changing moment that made you question your path. How do you arrive at that point? That was kind of big. Um, what is a childhood memory that shapes how you do things? For me, maybe that one is the Avatar one. So you can really pick and choose and do anything you want here. Okay, so now we will go on to the next step once you have answered all of those questions, or at least 2 or 3 of them, I would say. Okay, so now we're going to use AI to help us write the posts. And this is extremely important because AI cannot do everything for you. I'll have another video on this, but it's really, really, really important that you don't copy paste what AI gives you, because then you really stress you because then you're really, really going to sound like everybody else. And that is not the way you want to do it. You want to be you. So you are already leaps and bounds above other people by using questions from the previous step to help you find your unique perspective. But there's a lot of stuff that we can be done. So you want to use any LLM you prefer. I use ChatGPT just because it's more general, and especially 4.5 right now is really, really solid for writing. And then you can take this prompt and put it in. And it will not be perfect, but you will get something to work with. And as a side note here, I actually do think writing posts from scratch is way better, but not everybody has time for that. So hence this workflow. You can also ask AI to help you brainstorm ideas as a first step and then write a post based on that kind of topic. That also works. And here's a transcript there. Okay, now moving on to the next step. You want to edit it to your voice. Super, super, super important. You need to make it a bit more human, and this is honestly the hardest part. So no matter what you do, again, AIs will not be good as evoking human emotion as well as you are, especially if the grammar is perfect. There's a hot tip. Make a grammar mistake in your writing. Purposely put it, because then it seems like it's more like from you. Just spell something wrong, and then make a joke about it in the comments. I promise you, people love it. It happens to everybody, but it makes you seem more human. So this one is one of the hardest things to coach, but here's some things that you can use to get you started. What kind of writing do you like to read? Do you love to read like Greg Eisenberg with his really cut and straight to the point writing? Do you love to read? I personally love to read Pierce Brown. His prose, I think, is fantastic. And I also love R.F. Kuang. Her prose is also amazing. So I emulate those writers when I write. Additionally, how do you talk? What words do you use often? You can ask your friends and your family, because sometimes you may not even realize. You can, in that transcript, you can ask AI, what words do I use often? What transition words do I use? Things like that. And then third, what's your sauce? Every piece of writing has to have some sauce. And if you truly want to build an audience, you need to have something. Are you kind of goofy? Do you love dad jokes like me? Are you a bit more stern and serious? Like, add these things in. It's okay. Just make it personal. Make it about you. And then add things that you like, the ways you do things, a little bit different. Think of them all. I personally write with kind of a very, very unserious tone. I'll show you my last post. I never thought I'd be a LinkedIn baddie. I don't know who I think I am. Apparently I'm hilarious. But I put in like personal anecdotes that like people might have never realized that I was big in 2021 NFT Twitter. I put my full name because I guess why not if you want to steal my credit card information. But I add in a lot of these things, and that really helps people get to know me. They can feel my personality through my writing, and that is really, really, really the key. And the last one here, you really want to add adjectives. A lot of people don't add bloody fucking adjectives to their writing. How did it make you feel? Can you make it a metaphor? Can you make it anything else to add to make it more colorful? I'll show you another post really, really quick here that I wrote last week. And it was just based on everybody can be a good writer, in my opinion. So here's two examples. I woke up this morning and immediately ran to my keyboard. I slept in. I had an important client call. Versus, I woke up to my alarm blaring. It was 9:03. Oh shit. I sprinted to my keyboard and I opened Zoom. I look absolutely awful in the preview window, but guess what? It didn't matter. This was the most important client call this month and I was 3 minutes late. So you see there, I added a lot of adjectives. I added how I feel. I added small details that seemed not really important, like the preview window. It's something that everybody knows, but it's something nobody ever talks about or puts in their writing. And I was 3 minutes late. I alluded to the fact that the call started at 9 instead of telling you. So use these adjectives, find things you like, copy people that you like, dissect them, and use these to drive your own personal style. And honestly, you probably won't get it right away, and that is perfectly okay. but you just need to really put the reps in. And this workflow makes it a little bit easier and a little bit quicker to do so. And then at the end, you can add in your PS, your CTA, your note. Hey, I do this for this kind of people. This is my offer. Let me know if you're interested. And there you have a workflow to help you craft more authentic LinkedIn posts. And if you end up using any of these, definitely tag me. And I'll leave the link to this in the comments, so feel free to use it. And if you, this is what I do for people, I help people post and build their personal brand on LinkedIn, and also help them create YouTube videos like this to generate lead magnets. And if you are interested and think it's worth us working together, feel free to schedule a call right here. All right, peace.